But your folks were there too, all 80 of them, 80 agents.
Well, but
Combing social media every day, calling Twitter, calling Facebook, take that down. Get rid of that account. And it wasn't just on election interference. It was on COVID vaccines. It was on lockdowns.
so a couple things, and I appreciate the opportunity to clarify this. So first, on things like COVID vaccines and stuff like that, the FBI had no role in telling anybody to take anything down. In fact, as you may know, the FBI was the only agency back at that time, and the only agency in the entire intelligence community to reach the conclusion to moderate confidence that the origins of the pandemic were most likely a lab leak. Supreme Court review asked them to vacate the injunction. The Supreme Court's not only vacated the injunction, but granted cert, so I probably should
Let me
leave it at
stop you a
that.
second. I've gone way over. I want to ask you one last question. We had a controversy during the election about Mr. Hunter Biden's laptop. And at that time, you had 80 agents interfacing with social media, doing whatever they were doing. The FBI had the Hunter Biden laptop, got it on December 9th, 2019. The New York Post story, which a lot of the social media companies at the suggestion of government took down. The story came out on 10/14/2020. Why didn't the FBI just say, hey, the laptop's real?
All right, so obviously what this is and what we're dealing with here is the weaponization of these three-letter agencies, particularly the FBI, and how at a certain time, this is in the pre-Elon Twitter, now known as X, that they were basically very high-level Democrats in Washington, D.C. were basically colluding with the people that were in charge of X to wipe and to censor and to suppress content, actual real journalism, things that made the Democrats of the left look bad. Now, the most egregious example of this was the censorship of the New York Post Twitter account and locking those journalists out of Twitter, locking the New York Post out of Twitter, doing everything that they could to suppress the original Hunter Biden laptop story, which came in the last weeks before the 2020 election, which we now know, number one, all of that was 100% factual. That has been corroborated by multiple different mainstream media sources, okay? So the Hunter Biden laptop story was all real, every bit of it. And now what we also know, like I said, is that these people were colluding to censor that information from social media. It is very scary to live in a society where we have government entities that are working with social media companies to censor factual information that a lot of people, and there were studies that showed that a lot of people, had they been privy to that Hunter Biden laptop story more so before the election, they may have voted a different way. This is scary stuff.